Hello everyone, how are you doing and welcome back. So Battlefield 2042 is fully released and I thought to do sort of a guide, just going over some of the things I've learnt this past week from having early access to the game, just to help you guys get that sort of upper edge over the enemies. So this isn't going to be like a full new player's guide, just because obviously I'm still new to the game myself, learning all the sort of the quirks, the mechanics and everything else that goes along with this game. So for anybody that wants that, it's going to be sort of releasing sort of midway through December. I reckon I'll get it sort of all sorted and have enough time then with the game to fully give like a real good guide. So with regards to this video, it's just going to be broken down to sort of 4 categories. So sort of weapons, operators, game modes, and then sort of general tips that I've learned. And we're just going to go over sort of the best sort of options for each of those categories to help you guys level up quick, unlock the right weapons, use the best operators and everything else really. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into it. So starting off, the best weapon so far, and obviously you've probably heard by now the hit reg isn't the best with most of the guns, but these are sort of the most consistent guns with regards to hit reg and sort of things that are plaguing the game at the moment is the SMGs. So whether it be sort of the PBX-45 or the PP-29, which you unlock at level 18, both of those guns are really good options to sort of get using straight away. The PBX-45 you unlock straight away, so recommend starting off using that. And then once you get to level 18, the PP-29 is a real solid bet. There's plenty of videos out there showcasing how good of a gun it is. So yeah, I do recommend sort of getting up to that level as quickly as you can. So either of those SMGs are a real good bet. At the moment as well, they're pretty much better than assault rifles at long range. So I don't know how like this has come to be with this game, but those two are the better options for both long range and close range engagements. But if SMGs aren't really your style, the semi-autos are also quite a good bet. The DMR7 does sort of suffer from that hit reg. Well, both the semi-autos do, but the DMR7 I felt it sort of suffers more compared to the SVK, which you unlock at level 16. The SVK is a real good solid choice as well. It's a 2-shot kill at any range. Obviously, if the enemy has armor, it can be sort of a 3-shot unless you get them in the head. But the semi-autos, like I said, both do suffer from that sort of hit reg issue, and you do see it from time to time where you sort of sort of shoot the enemy center of mass, and it looks like the bullet's going to hit them, and you watch the bullet sort of go into their chest, and you don't get a hit marker or anything like that, and you're like, oh, okay. So just be wary when using sort of semi-autos stuff like that. You do feel the hit reg a bit more, and it can make you lose gunfights from time to time. Moving on to operators, I've had a go at sort of using all of them, but for me personally, during this sort of current state of the game, I guess meta, the best operators to use is sort of only really 2 of them, is Angel and Mackie. So Angel, obviously we couldn't use him in the beta, but he's got some real good gadgets on him. Basically, you can drop armor plates on the ground with like ammo attached to them, so you can give yourself armor and ammo. And if you run the med crate as well, you can give yourself health. So you can pretty much cover all 3 sort of aspects of giving yourself things that you need on the battlefield, really, and obviously giving it to your teammates as well. So you can be like a real team player with Angel, and also keep yourself stocked up on ammo, health, and armor. Because at the moment, armor does play quite a big role sort of during this current meta. Obviously, Mackie, we've all played him in the beta. You know, his grapple hook gives you real good mobility around the battlefield. Helps you get to those sort of hard to reach places, sort of get you into sort of unique overlook positions to be able to get the drop on enemies, and sort of be able to flank and all that kind of good stuff. You unlock him at level 15, so I recommend sort of using Angel straight off the bat, and then Mackie once you get to like sort of level 15, and sort of switching between the 2 depending on how sort of the game's playing out for your team. Okay, so moving on to game mode. At the moment, there's only 2 game modes, Conquest and Breakthrough, in sort of the all-out warfare game mode. So really, at the moment, like Conquest, it seems it's quite a barren experience, in the sense that they're wide open maps, which is fun, especially like vehicles and stuff like that. But for infantry play, like there's so many parts of the map that are just really open. So like you find yourself running out in the open, and if like an enemy sniper or enemy air vehicle or ground vehicle spots you, you're pretty much screwed. Like just 'cause there's no cover for like a few hundred meters there. You're just there like zigzagging, hoping they've got a bad shot to them. And the games seem to go on like not really much happens in the games if you're playing like as an infantry, just because like you find yourself running from point to point quite a lot, or getting into vehicles and not getting into the action too quickly, which I know some people like. But compared to like past Battlefield games, like even with like 128 players, the game mode seems quite just barren compared to like just the classic like 32 v 32. Like, it just seems that the maps are too big for the player count. Like, which it sounds strange, but it just seems like there's not much going on at certain points, and it creates these situations where there's like massive zergs of just players running from point to point, and if you happen to come across like sort of either as like sort of only a couple of you of your team mates sort of stumble across the main zerg, pretty much get taken out instantly because there's like 15 guys all shooting from different directions. So for me personally, I played that for a bit, and then I jumped on the Breakthrough, which was a real solid game mode. Like, Breakthrough is probably the best one to be playing at the moment for leveling up and unlocking attachments. It's a real solid game mode. It is quite fun. Some of the maps don't play too well with it, depending on some of the sides can be a bit lopsided and sort of get steamrolled and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'd say it's a pretty solid experience now compared to Conquest. So if you want to sort of level up quick or sort of unlock attachments and get to sort of more gunfights, Breakthrough is sort of the game mode to be playing at the moment. So let's go jump into sort of general tips now, sort of things I've picked up this past week. At the moment, like I've mentioned, armor is pretty broken. Everybody seems to be running it, and if you don't run it, whether it be sort of Angel's gadget ability or picking armor plates as a gadget over like ammo packs and health packs and all that stuff, you do find yourself sort of losing out on gunfights. You know, even if sometimes you get the first shot off, if the person's running armor, obviously that's like an extra bullet they tank. So you know you do lose gunfights sometimes, depending if the opponent has armor or not. It just comes down to chance. You know, like there is that chance where you get into a gunfight and the enemy player has armor and you don't. So at the moment everybody's running armor, so it's kind of the way it goes at the moment. Hopefully it gets fixed in a patch or something. I mean, I'm not too sure how they can tweak it. But yeah, that's kind of at the moment armor seems to be kind of the main meta. Suppressor, you know, trying to lock that as quick as you can. The downside of running it isn't too bad in my opinion, but I don't know why this was implemented, but when you shoot an unsilenced weapon, you appear on the minimap. So obviously with the increased player count, there's quite a bit of red dot chasing. So if you shoot sort of say on the flank of the enemy, or you manage to sneak behind them and you shoot an unsilenced weapon, people that are paying attention to the minimap instantly kind of start looking towards where you are. And obviously with it being like 64 v 64, instead of just being like a couple of guys, it ends up being like 7, 8, 9, even 10 guys to turn around and start shooting at you. And obviously not being much too much cover, it's a pretty bad time. But with the suppressor, you know, you don't appear on the map when you shoot. So if you do get those sort of big flanks off where you're sort of coming in behind the enemy, or you know you get in between them, just equip the suppressor and then you can sort of go to town with them then. And obviously when you need to sort of get that extra damage back, you just equip the suppressor and you're good to go then. But a suppressor is definitely a must to unlock, and it's different for each weapon depending on the amount of kills you get. Like some it's only 30, some it's like level it's sort of 90 kills and stuff like that. But it's all there on the information when you're selecting the weapon and sort of customizing it. It tells you what you need to do to get it. Already mentioned it as well, Zergin, especially on Conquest. It seems to be like quite a few big groups of players running around together. Just the way the game mode sort of, it's always sort of played like that, but obviously it's been sort of amplified with the increased player count. So just be careful if you're sort of running like a small squad, or you sort of find yourself being a solo and sort of away from your team and getting sort of caught out by the Zerg, because you will get taken down quite quickly with obviously with like so many people shooting at you. It's just quite hard to stay alive in this game when you've got like several people shooting at you at once. Once again, the cover doesn't help, but just like because there's so many people, they can just overwhelm you from so many different angles. So just watch out for those Zergs that are running around on Conquest. You don't really see it too much on Breakthrough. There's only like sort of 2 objectives and everybody's getting funneled together, but Conquest you do find, like I said, roaming groups of big players sort of just rolling around together. Like I said, gunfights, SMGs and semi-autos at the moment are sort of the way to go. Snipers are pretty good, but if you want to be up close, either SMGs or semi-autos are the way to go. And that's pretty much it from like general tips. I mean, like I said, hit reg, there's videos on YouTube, Reddit showing that the hit boxes aren't the best. They're sort of like off to the sides and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, hopefully it gets fixed sort of in the next few updates. I mean, I don't know how long that thing takes to fix, but those are just the things I sort of picked up on. So if you found this guide useful, make sure to drop a like. If you want to see sort of more tips, tricks, guides for Battlefield 2042 in the future, make sure to subscribe. Leave a comment down below as well if you got any other tips to help people out. Also drop a comment, what can I do better with these videos? Always looking to improve and make them better. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'll catch you in the next one, and have a good one.